Hi everyone, my name is Chris Kushnerek, and this video is for the Vancouver Community College course PIDP 3240. And today I'm going to be showing you how to install an electrical outlet in a residential setting and how to do it safely. But first we need a few tools for the job, and I have them down here. What we're going to need first is a pair of wire strippers, flat blade screwdriver, number 6 Robertson, a breaker lock, a lockout tag, a padlock, and importantly, a volt tick. Now, when working around electricity, one of the most important things you want to do is ensuring that the power is off when you're working on it to avoid any shocks. And so what we do here is we turn our little volt tick on. And if you can see, there's a little green light in there. And if the light goes to red and starts beeping, it indicates that the power is on. So we take our volt tick and we just touch it up against the wire. Flashing red, beeping, indicates the power is on. So what we have to do to make sure it's safe to work on is turn the breaker off. So we go up to our electrical panel here, identify what the circuit the plug is on, and turn the breaker off. And now in a lot of cases in buildings, the panel may not be so close to where you're working on. It could be in another room or even on another floor. To ensure that nobody comes along and turns the breaker on while you're working on it, we use these breaker locks here. Now these breaker locks here, you can see it's a little slot in the middle, and it slips right over the breaker. Like that. And then you just turn this little handle to tighten it down. So it's nice and snug. And you can see you can't turn the handle of the breaker on. But to ensure that nobody can come along and take this off, we use a padlock, and also we put a breaker tag on saying that the equipment is locked out. Slip this over there. There's a couple of holes on the end of this breaker lock. Goes in like that. Lock it, take the key, and that ensures nobody can definitely take that off while you're working on the plugs. So now we'll go down to our wires here, and we'll do one final check with our volt tick to ensure that the power is off. Stays green, safe to work on. So we'll grab our other tools here, our wire strippers, and our plug. Now if you take a close look at our receptacle here, there's different colored screws. We have a green colored screw here, and that is where our ground wire is. And it can be either bare copper or green. Then we have a silver screw, and that is where your white neutral wire goes to. And on the other side, a brass screw, and that is where your black hot wire goes to. So what we want to do, you can see on the brass wire, it's got a nice hook, and you want to do nice hooks so it hooks right around the screws and ensures that it's nice and snug. But you can see here, we got to strip the wire, and a lot of different gauges of wires that you use. In this case, it's number 12 wire, and you want to match it up with the 12 here on the wire strippers. And you put it in about 3/4 of the way back from the end. Give it a little twist like that, and it snips the insulation off without damaging the wire. And then there's another little hole here. You put the end of the wire in and give it a nice little hook. We'll do that again with the white wire that's already got a bit stripped. Give it a nice little hook. And they're ready to go onto the plug. So we grab our number 6 green Robertson. Again, the ground wire goes onto the green screw. Make sure that's down nice and snug. Our white wire goes around the silver screw. Again, make sure it's nice and snug. And then finally, our black wire onto the brass screw. Now it doesn't really matter which order they go on, as long as you get them all nice and snug. There you go. Nice and tight, give them a little tug at the end there, make sure they're secure, and then you're ready to push the wires back into the box. Making sure they don't pinch along the sides. So we grab our screws. Now these screws are the same size as the ones on the plug. You just use your number 6 Robertson screwdriver again. Ready to push this, mount the plug back into the box. And if you're doing a lot of plugs in a building on a day, what I like to use is a cordless drill. It not only makes things faster, but saves a lot of wear and tear on your wrist if you're doing a lot of these plugs. When you push it in, you want to make sure it's nice and flush to the drywall. Like that. And then we're ready for our cover. And this is where you use your flat blade screwdriver. And again, just snug these screws up nice and tight. And again, finally just making sure that the cover and the plug are nice and straight vertically. Now that that's in, we're ready to turn the breaker back on and test that the power is there at the plug. So we just take our lock off again and unscrew the breaker lock, and we just turn our breaker back on. Close the door. And again, here we use our volt tick. Turn that back on. You can see it's green. And when you touch it up to the plug, it should beep red and flash, indicating the power is back on. And there you go. Plug is installed. It's ready to be used. So that's it for installing a plug and how to do it safely. If you're not sure when working around electricity, make sure you hire a professional electrician. And most of all, be safe. Thanks for watching.